What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. This is episode 65. 65. That's how that works.
You would think we'd be better at it by now.
You would think, people.
No idea.
At least we're starting the show properly.
This is episode 65, recorded on Sunday, January 18th. We're already 18 days into the new year.
Yep.
2026 to get posted to podcast services on Tuesday. Yeah, January
usually.
20th, 2026 to the usual spots. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and then YouTube. If you're listening to us on an audio-only version and you haven't yet come on over to YouTube, come on over. Check us out. You can watch full episodes there, or you can click around. Everything is segmented out with time code. You can click around, watch whatever you want. We try to snip out some interesting stuff. Now that we're past the hullabaloo of the holidays, Roger, we're gonna start doing some shorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Good.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
Fine.
We'll
Fair enough. Like and subscribe, however you choose to enjoy our content. Thank you very, very much. I am one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me as I do every week are my co-hosts Roger Stillion and Chris Bond.
Yeah.
How are you guys staying warm in this freezing landscape we
Haha,
have?
sure question. I'm not. It's cold and I hate it.
It is very cold.
That's cold.
Yeah.
I'm also wearing shorts.
I'm ready for it to not
You're
be
a
cold.
weird man. You're an odd duck over there.
Yep.
Cool.
I got my hair cut short.
Yeah, I didn't want to point it out, but we bullied you to a haircut, which is cool.
It had to be done. It was so I had a mullet. It was bad, but it's shorter than I wanted it to be. I
Should
look
have
like
leaned into it.
I look like Kurt Russell in Stargate now. The hair just
You're back
up.
home in West Virginia for a while. Grow that mullet out.
It's
Grow
cute
that
that you
mullet.
think you looked anything like Kurt Russell, but that's fine.
I love Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell, you want to come on the show? You
The
have a
fact that
standing.
you have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and some hair. Sure, very much Kurt
Oh, yeah.
Russell like.
Spit an image. 100%.
Kurt Russell, if you want to come on the show and tell me how wrong I am,
Come on the show and sit with your twin, your
Who did you
lookalike.
say last week wasn't welcome on the show?
Chris.
Chris Pratt. That's okay. Kurt Russell is. Chris Pratt isn't. I just need to know.
Correct. Chris Pratt,
Tony, when
you
we're
are
gonna
not
come on and
welcome.
talk about Mercy next week.
Nope, Chris
No.
Pratt's not welcome on this show. I
That's
will.
fine.
Nope. Anyway, let's get on with it, guys. How we doing? What's going on this week?
Not much this week for me. Just I watched the movie we're gonna talk about today with like a bunch of family, which I never do. So that was cool. We went to the
I assume you don't mean your young children.
no.
I'm just
No,
checking.
no. My brother, my niece, mom, and my brother's girlfriend.
Okay, so you had a nice family experience
Yeah.
watching the Bone Temple.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. Yeah.
I'm glad you picked a nice bonding.
Oh yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Excelente.
That's good, though,
that's cool.
man. That's good. Did you go to the
We
new
went.
theater?
We went to the new theater. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mhm. Yeah, it was a good experience all the way around.
Good.
It's cool.
Good. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Got me a popcorn bucket. So
Did you get the yearly, but the big
Wait,
one?
wait. Golden ticket, the yearly bucket, so you can get it refilled. That's smart.
Yeah,
Smart
you got
choice.
to. I mean, I got one.
Well, shout out to mom. She wanted to share popcorn with my niece, and then I got to inherit the bucket, which
There
was
you go.
nice.
Oh, hey,
That's all we
Yeah,
need.
yeah.
it's the same.
What does it cost a golden ticket to refill? I remember
I think it's like
reading
$5.
Yeah, it's not much.
Something
It's like
cheap,
5
but-
or 7 or something like
But
that.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
significant amount.
It's a lot of popcorn though. Like I'll have take home popcorn if I fill that thing up.
I think tomorrow is National Popcorn. I think it's the 19th.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
National Popcorn Day. Yeah, they said you can get a popcorn for like $1 or something in golden
Hell
ticket.
yeah.
So.
I think to refill your bucket, it's only like $2 or $3
Oh heck yeah!
on that day.
Nice.
So
Even if you bought the bucket in January and paid $1 to refill it once a week year round, they're still making massive profit on
Oh,
the
they
dollar.
are. Yeah, 100%.
well, yeah, I bought mine because you could buy it before the year. I bought it right before whatever movie we saw right before Christmas.
Mhm.
I bought it.
Oh,
I
nice.
was just like, well, because I was like, I know I'll have it. And
Yeah.
Was
I
it
know,
Marty Supreme?
I know I'll be. I think it was Marty Supreme. I was like, I know
Nice.
I'll be here a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't always get popcorn. I always get a drink, but if I ever was like, you know what, didn't eat dinner, let's just get some popcorn.
Here's the real question: Do you guys have the golden ticket app?
Yeah, of
No,
course.
I don't yet. I probably will as long as things keep going the way they are. I still find myself at the Highlands half the time, so I'm not sure. I have to do some math to find out if it would still
Okay.
be worth it for me if it's 50-50. If it leans harder than 50-50, it's a no-brainer for me at that point, but it all depends.
I like golden ticket more than marquee.
Currently,
Golden
yeah.
ticket's currently cleaner. It's the screen experience is better, I think.
They did redo all the screens, which is
So,
nice.
Yep.
We'll see.
And the sound too. Which is
Anyway,
nice.
so would you guys watch anything else for the
I was telling Grayson before the show, before you got here, Chris. Today, I actually, for the first time in a long time, rewatched the original John Wick.
Oh yeah,
And it's been a long time since I watched the first one.
I watched it like 6 months ago with
I
wife.
forgot how good it actually
good.
is. Like, and the start is so strong with
Yeah.
when his wife dies and she gets him the puppy and
Oh yeah.
and then and then everybody knows what happens after that. Like John Wick becomes this monster thing, but I forgot how old that movie actually is too.
It is, yeah.
It's been around for a long time.
It's been around to successfully launch a genre. You know what I mean?
An entire genre.
Kung Fu, man.
5 movies in its own right. So yeah, it was good. It was a solid watch because like obviously we've seen it become more refined as we've gotten farther along with the 4 movies and then Ballerina and that. But to watch the original, like it made me feel good.
Good,
you know?
yeah.
It's just like
yeah. My wife did not enjoy it, but
no, well, you know,
it's stuff. I mean, it's
hater of the finest magnitude.
It's very guy coded, which is fine. You know what I mean?
But it's not. But that's not to say that
the first one's more emotional than all of them, though. Like,
that's fair. That's 100% fair. Yeah.
I always thought there was some Max Payne in the DNA of John Wick as far as the characters are concerned.
Max Payne wishes he was that badass.
I think Max Payne is more coded in the Matrix than in
maybe.
John
Well,
Wick, honestly.
No one cares about the slowdown of time. I'm talking about the characters, how they line up, the motivation, stuff like that. I think there's a lot of
Does
Max
time really
Payne
slow
John
down, or is it just all the painkillers?
Ooh.
Well, the bullet time, isn't that what they did?
It's relative to his perspective.
Is it also not painkillers?
Yeah, it is. I don't know. Yeah, you're taking something.
So what we're really saying is painkillers.
Anyway, moving on. So I watched a few things. I'm watching less and less these days, but I watched a few. I didn't get caught up with 28 Years Later. I wanted to. I just didn't. But I rewatched Happy Gilmore 2 again. This is a weekly.
Wait. Hold on, you can't say the phrase.
Hold on. Out of the things that you didn't want to catch up on, and yet you chose to watch Happy Gilmore.
Well, here's the thing: is
that movie stinks.
I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened to one of the greatest comedies of the 90s. How you screw it up that badly? And there are parts of the film which I can forgive, but the one thing I can't and will never forgive is the opening where he kills Virginia. He kills Virginia with a line drive to the head. It just doesn't. And I get it. It happens in the original Happy Gilmore. Someone kills someone with a line drive or hits someone. It just.
You're trying to understand it, is why you're
yes.
watching. Do you understand what the phrase "exercise in futility" means?
Maybe, but I just. I don't know
what the words cash grab mean.
I'm down on Netflix.
All the things I've asked you to watch, and you're just gonna call it that you've rewatched Happy Gilmore.
You've not watched one thing I've told you to watch.
I've watched a few things you told me to watch.
Have you watched Sunshine?
Sunshine is the only one I have not watched yet. But I've watched so
Sci-fi
many things.
guy.
I've watched so many things you've asked me.
Fair enough.
You're watching Happy Gilmore.
Well, there was a couple things. I watched some of the Halloween films that some of the, I think H2O and Resurrection.
Rob Zombie ones?
No.
Oh God.
H2O and Resurrection, two of the worst. It don't make any sense, but it's just I don't know. I'm trying to get behind the ethos of some of the characters these days.
You know, the original Happy Gilmore has a 31 on Metacritic.
That's about right. But
do you know that Happy Gilmore 2 has a significantly higher one?
I believe that.
We're done with this conversation.
But
Moving
it's a 52.
on.
Yeah, but again, we know this. People that watch old films are either watching them to love them and rate them, or watch them to bury them when they rate them.
Anyway, so I should have.
And in 2025, when you watch Happy Gilmore, you are not going to rate that high as a known critic because of the way the comedy is in it.
I'm going to get caught up with both films when the next 28 Years comes out.
Happy Gilmore 3 comes out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Fair.
I hope they don't ever do that.
I don't think they can.
Anyway, moving on. Let's what else do you guys? Anything else we want to talk about before we reading anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I haven't watched. So me and the wife are watching actually a few different anime. Anime season is booming, and I'll bore our listeners with this for just a minute. We've got Frieren season 2 starting, which is the biggest deal in anime, and for me. Then we have JJK starting up, which is what I'm rewatching with the wife now. And we've just finished My Hero, and there's a new show that's out. Fantastic time to be watching anime. So yeah, I am watching stuff. Just hasn't been a movie in a minute. So answer your question.
Oh, are you done? I tuned out the nerd over there.
Oh yeah, I'm the nerd. Wow. I'm the nerd.
Wow.
I know. Well, you love your anime, and that's good. That's great. It's someone on the show needs to represent that. I'm not going to do that. But
I did something I haven't done in quite a long time. After what is more than halfway into a book, I punched out on it.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Why?
A long time.
Damn.
It was just not digging it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's like a longer book, which is fine. Like I prefer that usually because I like to be more invested in a long running story. But like when the first it's segmented out into 3 parts. After the first part, like the second part is just completely off the rails, and I'm like, I'm not a fan, man.
I love that. Well, I don't love that for you, but I love that conversation because I got called a nerd for calling it anime. You're reading a book and you didn't get called a nerd.
I mean, but
reading is fundamental.
But the way he reads, though, I've commented. I've commented on the way he reads. He listens to audiobooks, which isn't reading.
About a book that you recommended to me once upon a time.
Okay.
Roadside Picnic.
Okay.
I love that book. It's a short read. It's good, and I went back and visited. Still great, and I forgot it when I went to re-listen to it again. So
books are great. I'm finishing Treasure Island, and I finished a political book this week that I've been reading for the last 2. I'm really getting back into reading now. I'm trying to. After a certain hour, I'm cutting out all my screens, and I'm trying to go to bed.
Nerd.
It's fair enough. All right, let's start a show. Let's do it, guys. Once again, this is episode 65 of Post Credits Podcast, where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. Let's start a show. Let's dive into the box office. How about it, boys?
Sure.
I'm excited for this because
Avatar win?
Avatar's number 1. Hold on. 13.3. Now remember that number.
God.
Remember that number.
It's so low.
Whoa.
That's number 1. 13.3. Hold on. So for a worldwide of 1.32, so it's
okay,
doing whatever.
Sure.
Number 2, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Remember last week we talked about it would be a shame if it came in under Avatar's 21 million.
What's going on?
28 years later, just below Avatar.
Wait. 6.
I was going to say 6.
No, much higher.
Oh, is it?
Okay. That much?
It's 13.
Oh, okay.
15.3 and 13 and what divided it. But 28 years later, The Bone Temple 13 for 31 million worldwide. So the international is doing some legwork too, which is great.
That stinks though.
Yeah, but did they make?
They made enough money off the last one.
I was going to say, yeah, right. Like, and they shot this one, so like the budgets are tied. Almost.
I think the budget of the first 2 are tied.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's inclusive with the third one.
They haven't shot the third one yet.
No, it's still.
They didn't greenlight the third one until the middle of December.
Correct.
Jesus. Okay, got it.
So, number 3.
Glad they greenlit it then instead of now.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Zootopia 2, another 8.8, but that's sitting at 1.7. Billy, let's cross that 1.7 more. It's still going too. Let's listen to the divide here. Domestic 393, international 1.3. Isn't that crazy? Man,
God damn.
The Housemaid did another healthy 8.5 million for a worldwide of 177. The movie's doing some work.
13 million being the number 1. The split on these other ones is actually closer than normal, which is interesting in itself.
Well, January historically is not a great month for films, so
I expect it to be bigger this week.
Marty Supreme 5.5 million for a worldwide of 54. That one's not doing so hot.
Gotcha.
Let's look at 6 through 10 real quick. 6 through 10 are as follows: Primate, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. The extended re-release did very well. So far, that's made 3 or 4 million. All right, for a movie that's been released 100 times. That's great. Greenland 2: Migration. What are you sitting at? It's sitting at 16. That's awful.
Total
million worldwide. That's it. That's terrible. That's all it deserves.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's all it deserves. Let's
deserve it.
Leave it at that. SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants is number 10. Oh, I'm sorry. Number 9 is Anaconda, which is sitting at a somewhat healthy 121. Yeah,
a handful
that's
of
not
nickels.
terrible. But there's your box office. January is never like a completely moving month. So there's the box office. Let's go into a movie recommendation, Roger. What do you got for us?
So obviously, we're talking about the 28 sagas today, and I know last time we talked about one, we sort of wrote back in all of the previous 28 movies. So I'm not going to do that this time.
Okay.
I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to stay semi-zombie genre if we're considering 28 zombies. I think we are.
Yeah.
Right. So I picked one that I enjoy just because it's a fun movie. It's not Zombieland though. It's Dawn of the Dead, the one that they shot in the hospital.
Yeah.
Or in the mall. They actually shot that in Pittsburgh. which is interesting. I have a soft spot for that movie because I think it's very well done.
Yeah,
and you could argue that that's one of the best things Zack Snyder has ever put on screen.
That's fair.
Like,
well, or at least one of the best things without controversy, for sure.
The only thing that I ever wanted from that movie and never got, I wanted a direct sequel to that film. Because if you watch through the credits of that movie,
there's
when they get to the boat, like there is found footage stuff of them getting to an island, and it's also overrun. And I would have loved to see what happened to that story. I mean, you could just assume though that story just ends when they get devoured.
Yeah,
I feel like you could have wrote a story there.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
So I don't think you're too far off because 2004 was Dawn of the Dead. Oh, 300. That was his. That's after 2006.
Okay.
So 300 was like the last great thing.
Second best thing.
That was still 2006. Watchmen kind of had some controversy behind it.
Watchmen's okay. Did you ever watch the Watchmen show?
No.
It was on HBO.
No.
If you like the Watchmen movie, it very much fits.
Okay.
I thought it was fun.
And then he did in 2010. I didn't realize this. He did Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole. I didn't realize he directed that.
Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah.
Ga'Hoole.
And then he did Sucker Punch, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League. All that's under the Zack Snyder verse. Which
I will never understand why people love Sucker Punch. I just don't get it.
It's a really specific crowd of people.
Well, yeah,
you gotta be careful here the line you're walking.
I know why people like Sucker Punch.
Yeah,
you're morons.
I think the term the kids are using now is gooners.
Jesus. Yeah, you're right. No, you're fucking right.
All right, and then he did. Well, Army of the Dead was in 2021, and then of course, Rebel Moon, two of the worst. But I mean, that makes sense around Netflix. Netflix can't make shit.
I didn't hate the Army of the Dead movie. I just thought they tried way too hard.
It's a bold statement, and when Rip just got released and is killing it right now. So
well, they do occasionally do something right, but the majority of the time they can't do anything right.
I didn't know Rip was coming. By the way,
Rip is here.
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me about it. They're like, "Have you seen that Matt Damon, Ben Affleck thing on Netflix?" And I was like, "Huh?" So he looked me directly in the face and goes, "Don't you have a podcast about movies?" And I went, "Yeah."
Yep.
Under a list of things not to admit on the show, that would have been one. But
anyway,
your brother. Hold on a second. We got upcoming. He's got Army of the Dead, Las Vegas, Lost Vegas, which is turning into like CSI, which is Army of the Dead everywhere. Brawler, Planet of the Dead, The Fountainhead. Fountainhead's a big deal. That's a very famous book, right? That's a massive book. Yeah. The Last Photograph, and
I'm not talking about books anymore.
No. I want a Planet of the Dead. That's getting a little out there, Zach, isn't it?
I mean, it's good. It's going out to space.
He didn't say Moon of the Dead.
He didn't.
Dead Moon.
There's only one person cast, Omari Hardwick. That's the only person listed for the cast. So, I mean, I'm sure.
Does that person sound familiar?
Chris Hardwick.
The guy.
Catherine Hardwick. Catherine Hardwick had a lot to do with this Twilight stuff.
Gotcha.
Anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
This is the Snyder. Yeah, it's just unfortunately he had some. Yeah. Unfortunately, Snyder had some stuff go wrong in his life, and it's just I don't think he's really found a footing since. I don't wish the guy ill. I wish he'd get back to making movies that weren't.
Say what you just.
He is. No, he can make a good movie. We know that. 300 is spectacular. Dawn of the Dead is really good. So we know that. Anyway, moving on.
I would argue Man of Steel's fine.
Well, but it's unfortunately it's inside the Snyderverse, which people really kind of have a negative opinion about.
I don't
care if it's that movie.
I don't care if it's in the Spider-Verse because it's
Snyderverse.
They could wish it was in the Spider-Verse.
Whatever.
It's Snyder wishes.
It's a good film within a shitty verse. That's fine, but it's still a good movie.
I would agree with that.
All we ever wanted was a proper sequel to that movie, and then you saw what we got instead.
Yeah. Fair.
All right.
If we'd have got Man of Steel 2, we never would have got half this other crap that showed up.
DC might be an actual contender. You know what I mean?
Hey, they're trying again.
They're trying. Yeah.
All they had to do was fire everybody.
Unfortunately, they got gunned. So we'll see how that goes.
Let's move on, please. Let's talk about the expanded discussion this week is 20 years later. Now we've seen the second movie in the trilogy. do we like where it's going? And if you haven't seen it yet, this is your fair warning. We're probably going to say some spoilery stuff now. We have to talk about where the direction is going.
Spoiler warning.
But this is one of the movies that I care about spoiling, because people may not having seen it. You may want to see it, so be forewarned. If you've not seen it, probably tune out now and come back if you plan on seeing the movie. Listen to the rest of the show, but.
This is a spoiler warning.
We have 28 years later, we've now seen The Bone Temple, which is movie 2 of 3. Well, I mean, third one is still yet to be shot, but
it's greenlit though.
It's greenlit. Mm-hmm. What are we thinking? I'm on a low point.
Okay.
I'll just say that I'm on a low. I did not like this second movie. I don't like the direction they took it in. I thought they did a bunch of cop outs, but I know you guys may have different opinions.
I like where we're at. And I don't like where we're at because I think that the second movie is great. I like where we're at because the 28 movie,
Saga.
the 28 universe has continued to give me what it keeps on giving me things that is outside of the box. I am still watching a zombie / infection, whatever you want to call it, movie, and I'm getting things that I haven't gotten from any other property that's adjacent. I'm getting things that are similar, yes, because you have to do some of the things that they all do for it to be categorized as such. But this franchise, so far, from start to now, has been different than the things that are around it, and I appreciate that. And it gives me things to explore. I'm on record saying how much I dislike the end of the last one. This movie, I'm not going to ever say is great, but to me, it's good. And I'm okay with wherever we go with the third one to at least stay on the slide all the way down, and that's where I'm at on it.
Okay, I think that's fair. So if you go back, however long ago it was when we did the last, what was it, 28 years later without a.
It was in June.
Was it June, man?
Wasn't that long ago?
Yeah, not that long ago. When you go back to that, honestly, I wasn't a big fan of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I will put everything together as still one after watching this last movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kind of not there. And it's because they went a different direction in the third movie, which is fine. I get it. It's been a long time. You want to try to refresh things, make stuff a little bit different. I get it. I understand it. I didn't like which way it went, and that's on me. If you like that, that's fine. I have seen far worse movies. That's fair. I want to make a statement on that. I've seen far worse movies.
We just talked about Zack Snyder.
Exactly, a significant amount, actually.
Sucker punch.
But a lot of why I don't like the last movie is because of how it ends, which unfortunately for me is 90% of this next film that we get.
Okay.
So, and I'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the deep dive of that. But right now, I mean this with all sincerity, if they said, "Hey, we're done with it after this," I won't lose a minute of sleep about it.
They can't.
It's because I don't think that they gave us what people were really looking for.
What do you think? Okay, well, so I want to ask you a question then. What do you think people were looking for from this?
Well, so that's the thing, right? And it's gonna sound like a cop out because I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
But if you take 28 Days, which is an iconic movie,
yes,
a fucking rock star film, that movie rules from start to finish, and then you follow it up with 28 Weeks, which is a different tone.
It's
right?
okay.
It's more military driven. It's more 5,000 feet. Let's see if we can try to fix this. And it still devolves into chaos, but it is what it is, right? They tried something different there, and I respect that. Now, I can't say that I don't respect them for trying something different in these last two movies because they are certainly different.
Oh, yeah.
They're certainly different, which is also probably why I'm not the biggest fan of them. But it's because of how it's Danny Boyle was still deeply attached to it. And he turned the reins over the whole thing to Alex Garland. Right? We've seen Alex Garland make some really good stuff. Okay, love him or hate him, he's made some critically acclaimed things. All right, whether you like those movies or not. I think especially with the movie we're going to talk about today, which is not directed by Alex Garland, by the way,
or Danny Boyle,
but they are both the EP and the VPs all over this film. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't get made without their approval. I don't know if these two movies are coherent enough together to make two pieces of a trilogy. Now, you can say, well, of course, the ending of the one movie goes directly to the next one. They have to be connected. If you started watching 28 years later right now and stopped with 15 minutes to go, and then you picked up this next movie, you'd be like, what in the fuck is going on here?
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how disconnected these are to me. I mean, if you like them, cool. That's fine. Enjoy them. I just don't think we're doing anything right now. And this next movie, when we talk about it, is a very segmented movie. And like the parts that I think are better is like the vast minority of it.
Okay.
So
unfortunately, I think you're right. And you hit the nail on the head is what were people looking for? As someone who I rave about the first movie, I love the second movie. I thought it went exactly where it should have gone. The U.S. military steps in, infection's gone. They have a ton of military presence to make sure they can handle it. Surprise, surprise, they can't. But again, that movie asks some expanded questions that the first movie asks. The first movie asks, where's the humanity in all this? If they're not undead, can they be brought back? You know, that one sergeant that goes against his men in the end of the first film, he says a lot really quick. He asks a lot of questions that I don't think we return to until the second film, or even in 28 years Bone Temple, I don't think we return to, but he makes some good points. But the first movie and the second movie talk to each other with humanity. What's worth saving? Is it lost? How can we get it back? I mean, that's the same with because Robert Carlyle, I think it's Robert Carlyle, plays the villain in the second one, and he's infected, he's got rage, but he still can think. It's like we know things about that, and we know in these films that humanity is not completely lost. It is still there if you can find it and bring it back, which I think is interesting. However, what 28 days later did was, I think, the same thing for zombie stuff that Scream did for the slasher films. It brought it back. It made zombies scary again. It made things intense. You know, I mean, I keep calling them zombies because that's for lack of a better phrase, it is what they are. But they were quick, they were smart, and they weren't Night of the Living Dead, which we have evolved way past as far as filmmaking is going. And the reason I liked it is because they were quick, they were fast, and they were deadly, and you couldn't make a sound when they were around. The movies have kind of gotten away from that, which is kind of one of my problem with the new film. But I don't think either of these two movies are anything that anyone wanted. That's my problem with these movies. As good as they are, and they are very well made films, I think it's like Prometheus and Covenant. You didn't give the people the one thing that they wanted, which is what I think is a problem now. And yeah, the filmmakers with the pinky up, thinking that they're smarter than the rest of us, but box office would dictate for the second film, I think is exactly where it belongs. Because if someone says, hey man, I know you saw Bone Temple, should I go watch it? And they go, and their eyes get big, that's all that person needs to know. Okay, I'll get it on streaming. You made a movie that no one wants to watch a second time. And I say no one is, I'm being maybe a little harsh here, but I guess that's where I am. Someone who championed and could not wait for 28 years later, am now kind of shaking my head. And I accept the second film. I accept weeks before I accept either one of these two films as part of the canon.
Very poignant. Now let me tell you why you're wrong. So
we can tell me why you think I'm wrong.
First off, I disagree with your statement that 28 days later brought zombies back into the fold. 28 Days did not do that. 28 Days was not a widely popular movie when it came out. It was later on that it became really well known. That movie did not splash onto the scene and everyone raved about it when it was out.
No, it earned its cult classic.
It did 100%. So I don't agree with that. Walking Dead did that. So that's the first.
7 years later, man.
That doesn't matter. 28 days later didn't splash the zombies back onto the map. That was Walking Dead within that era.
Well, okay. So I want to say one thing here is, of the two movies from 2002, Resident Evil and 28 Days Later, one of those sucks, and one of those is 28 days later.
I agree with you 100%.
So like that's
Resident
the thing.
Bigger.
Well, sure, it's also a video game. That's a very popular game franchise. But as far as quality of film, and 28 days did everything that the producers of Resident Evil wished that they could have done.
I agree with you, except for the fact that 28 got zombies back onto the map. It did not. No one saw it. It wasn't big.
I don't know if I agree with that, but
not bigger than Resident Evil at the time.
It's true.
There's no way. But
Resident Evil made a ton of money.
It did.
Furthermore, I don't think that the 28 series has given people what it wants either at this point. The masses want a zombie film which is by the numbers, tropey, and people are getting ripped apart and all this stuff. That's not what they're doing, though. That's not what they've ever done. They did in the first two films because you have to start somewhere. They're telling very specific stories in each film, from what I've gathered. We have Outbreak with the first one. We have Control with the second one. We have Perseverance with 28 years later, and now we have Evil with this one. They're very themed stories through each of these,
of course.
And then
make it more religious. It's penance. It's penance.
Well, I think the next one is Redemption,
sure,
or something along those lines.
No, that's
penance
fair.
Things like this, because each movie has a secular theme to it almost, and it's underlined. And because the people that are involved are pinkies up, they are artistes. They're not movie makers.
Alex Garland for sure.
They're not movie makers. They're filmmakers. You know what I mean? Like that's who these.
I watch
are.
films. Shut the fuck up.
So I do think that's what we're getting, and I don't think they care. And that's on them with how people react to the product they're creating. But I do think that the movies have something that other movies in this genre don't have, because I can't think of a single other zombie movie out there that has come out that has actual, I don't know, besides some of the shots and the way that like Dawn of the Dead from 2000s did, with but it's very specific and very just a flavor thing. Dawn of the Dead. I don't think Dawn of the Dead told an amazing story with deep characters and overarching things.
No.
I think we get that out of the 28 series. I think we get that in all of these movies so far. Even in 28 Weeks Later, which I would say is still the weakest of the four, in my opinion. I don't, and you would tell me I'm wrong, which is fine. So would my mother.
No,
she loves me.
I think it's. I mean, quality wise, I think it's the weakest. Enjoyability wise, I don't know if that works.
Which is fair.
Well,
but
can I make a statement about that? I would argue that you can't really rank any of these movies because they're all vastly different films.
That's kind of the point that I'm making, though,
yeah.
Right? It's like each one of these movies, while in the universe, in the story, these two are the closest thing to it, are the only ones that are actually linked together.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
directly
linked. Yes.
Each movie tells a very specific kind of story so far.
Sure.
And love it or hate it, this is the risk you take when you do things that are film and not movie, right? And we say it all the time. You can make whatever movie you want. You have to be okay with the way that people respond to it. You don't have to like the response, but this is what you've made. This is now what happens.
Yeah, when you make a movie like these last couple of movies, you can't stare at a screen going, when somebody says, I don't get it, and you have to be like, of course you don't. You don't understand. Well, it's because, if you go back to the wider zombie trope movie, these movies have become less zombie movies, which generally happens, much like the de-evolution of The Walking Dead. It becomes less about the zombies or the infected as it becomes the humans.
Well, okay.
It's always the people.
Well, this movie does that point well. Again, this one is about evil, and that's because the infection, you can see it as evil. Some characters in this film we just watched literally paint it as the devil's work.
Yeah.
But the infection is the furthest thing from evil that you get. There's no intent behind it.
No, it's just an infection.
Yeah.
It's just a disease that is not cured.
It's the people in the world that are capable of evil still. It's always people that are capable of evil.
But that's so tropey, It's just, I wish we'd have avoided Garland seems smarter than that to get sucked into that.
Well, I don't agree with you that it's tropey, though.
Well, if the humans are always the problem, then it's in every zombie film, then it's tropey.
Well, hold on. Humans are always the problem.
There's no universe where the humans aren't going to be the problem.
Okay, fair enough.
In all movies of all time, in every book ever written, the humans are always the problem.
Okay, the first book.
Okay, fine. But I know you're saying it's like a tongue-in-cheek laugh, but everything is in every. Let's just stick to zombie movies. In every zombie movie, everything's fine until someone does something stupid.
But that was even the case in 28 Days Later. The soldiers were the problem.
Of course. Well, I mean, the soldiers looking for a reason to persevere, to carry on, were the problem.
Well,
yes.
but like the zombies.
Bad people do bad shit.
28 days. It wasn't like the zombies were just that. They were just infected. They're the one, like their friend that they had caged right outside or whatever.
Mailer.
Yeah, they stopped seeing him as human the second he was infected. Which, whatever. But like, as you have to at that point in their situation. But like that person lost all humanity. What this movie is showing us that they were wrong. Their friend was underneath all that. You know what I mean?
Still there.
Well, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But I guess this is all discussion for when we get into the movie proper. But
deeper maybe. But yeah,
I guess I'm not happy with where we're going, and I'm not.
Fine.
I've not been like the last 30 seconds or the last 5 or 10 minutes of the second film. I said, okay, now we're where we should have been at, somewhere in the first movie. It's a sliding scale. But that's kind of what I'm sitting at. Is I've watched 2 movies now that ultimately I don't think matter in the canon of what's going on or won't matter, and that it upsets me that we've taken this long to get to Jim.
Yeah, but you can't start with Jim. You can't.
Like I said, somewhere in the first film, if Jim had found Spike instead of the Power Rangers, that would have been acceptable. That would have been what I was expecting.
Yeah, but Jim is finding Spike now. So you're getting exactly what you're asking.
Yeah, but it took a whole other movie to get to that.
Yeah, okay, well, hold on. But again, they're telling a story here. It's not on accident that last villain was named Jim. It's not an accident. Right?
Sure.
Jimmy's. And the person he's going to find that is someone who's persevered, who we know is of good heart and of good mind, and and has things to live for. It's no coincidence that that he's going to find a good Jim after just seeing
all the bad Jims.
All of them. You know what I mean? There's storytelling happening here. Whether we like the storytelling or not, we like to say that it needed this is where it should have started. Then it's just empty, hollow, like service. Because if we start there, what's the point of starting there? Besides that, oh well, he was a part of this when it started, so of course he's the good guy that we should see. There's no reason for it. It's just because we should. I don't think that feels
tropey.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that.
No, I think that's no, because the sequels in name only, which is like majorly for me in my life, it was like late 90s to like up to like 2010 is like you make a movie that has that might share one character or one story thread with the other movies. That like those days are gone. You have to now connect them, which is like we make movies like Blade Runner 2049, Top Gun Maverick, which the movies speak to each other. So Jim, there was no script in which Cillian Murphy didn't come back in this.
Yeah, but I find it more impressive that they edged themselves and us enough to wait the third movie to even let it happen. Because again, I think that if it happens in the first film, it's like, oh, well, of course he's here. But like to go this far and this long to tell this much story and then reintroduce someone we know as a good guy in this bad world is important.
Sure.
Because the only other good guy we know is no longer going to be here. So now the next step is
Memento Mori.
Memento Mori, right?
Let's get into it though. Now that we're right here, let's get into it. We're going into 28 years later, the Bone Temple. Again, spoiler warnings for those. If you don't care, then stick around. But
there's going to be some significant spoilers.
There's going to be nothing but spoilers.
There has to be. I mean, a movie like this, there has to be.
Well, also too though, if this is your first time tuning into us and you haven't seen any of the other 28 films, maybe starting on the fourth one isn't the best call here.
Yeah, you'll be really confused if you start with this movie.
Thanks for coming this far along the ride with us. I appreciate that, but you need to check out some of the other movies first.
At least 28 years.
Well, at least the direct movie before this. You don't see the other two fine, you're really missing out though.
Now, if you're just here to listen to our mugs yak it on, then that's
mugs
yak it on. Subscribed.
Let's talk about it. All right, 28 years later, directed by Nia DaCosta.
Who has not got the greatest track record.
Hold on. I want to say I don't think she's a problem at all.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, I think this is extremely well-made movie. I just don't agree with it. It wasn't where I wanted to go, so I hate it.
I was worried with her track record.
Sure, and that's a very fair,
Continue. I'm sorry.
Written by Alex Garland, who we very much like, and of course,
maybe
Danny Boyle is in the background doing Danny Boyle things,
being creepy and weird.
We have Spike. Alfie Williams comes back. We have another huge rotating cast. Ray Fiennes is back. Jack O'Connell, Connor Newell, Aaron Kellyman. The cast is actually quite expansive.
A lot of Scottish and Irish people on that cast list.
A lot of UK people.
a lot of Brits here.
Sure. But the important part is Spike and Ray Fiennes are back.
And Samson in the Hammer.
Yes, Samson. What's his name?
Credit.
He should. Goddamn thing should have some trailer.
I will say, for the record, it is a prosthetic.
Is it? Did you read about that?
He said it in an interview.
Somebody chose to make it. Wow. Jesus.
Samson, which is Chai Lewis Perry. He looks to be a monster of a man when I'm looking at his IMDb photo.
I mean, we've seen him in the movie. He's gigantic.
He is a giant man. But let's talk about it. I think we've already got the first impressions out of the way.
Yeah, I think so too. But just in case you're only viewing this part of it and you skipped the last conversation.
Grayson, what's the Metacritic?
Well, let's.
Hey, what do you think it is?
What do I think the Metacritic?
Hold on, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh, are we? Okay.
We're getting first impressions out of the way. Now, for reference, 28 days later, back from 2002, we're looking at the Rotten Tomato 87 and 85. Very respectable numbers. I think that's the best. I think that's the OG is the best, and it has a Metacritic of 73, which is very favorable.
Good movie.
Yep.
28
weeks.
28 weeks later, I don't have up. Hold on one second. Do I have it up? Nope, I don't.
Fill time.
Well, you guys have filled time.
Stare awkwardly into the camera. So prosthetic.
28 weeks later with Jeremy Renner is sitting a little bit lower at a 73 and 66.
I think that's right, though.
Yeah, it's not terribly wrong.
28 days.
I mean, listen, I've seen many movies worse than that.
True. Also
it's
true.
Just a different
Any
thing.
zombie-related
28 weeks later is sitting. It's actually the second highest Metacritic of 78.
What was the Metacritic on first one?
First one was 73. I did tell you the Metacritic.
Okay,
you didn't say for 28 weeks though.
28 weeks is 78. That's what I thought. Like I'm seeing it for the first time now because I typed in 28 years later instead of 28 weeks, and that's incredibly high. I'm happy that I that's the one I prefer. But
yeah, I'm surprised honestly.
Hold on, 28 years later
would be the next one.
So prosthetic
Tomatoes.
He said filming was cold.
All right, 28 years later, we're looking at 88 in popcorn meter of 63. So the audience liked it a lot less than the critics,
which makes sense.
Yeah,
with the direction that they went, because
it's very Alex Garland.
Well, I mean, think about going from the first two films if you're a fan of it, and
it's totally very different.
Yeah, like you don't get the waves of zombies again, which is the traditional movie, and they're not in the traditional zombie box right now.
And the 28 years later, the Metacritic is 70. Wait, what are we talking about? 77. So one less than 4 more than 28 days, 1 less than 28 weeks.
Okay. What's Bone Temple?
Now we're at Bone Temple.
Now we are at Bone
Temple. What do you think Bone Temple is?
Oh, God. I think people are hate watching this, unfortunately.
No, you're wrong.
Let's see.
No. We're talking about Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, Rotten Tomatoes first.
Metacritic.
If I told you the tomato meter, hold on, the tomato meter 93. What do you think the popcorn meter is?
Oh God, it's going to be lower. It's going to be like 55.
89. Jesus, really? Man. Yeah, Bone Temple. Yeah.
The last one was like 80s and 60s. Yeah, so you can't. Yeah. Okay.
So Bone Temple is 93, 89 now. Metacritic.
Oh God. Is it going to be high or low?
It's high, man.
Is it?
It's higher. It's the highest.
It's the highest so far. No, God. That's like elite stuff, man. That's like Schindler's List level. 80. And 2, Bone Temple having Metacritic as 80 is, the world's flat. Who cares? I don't agree. I completely do not agree. I think there are so many tonal problems with this movie that I would have never thought a movie with this many tonal problems could get an 80. I thought that would be completely impossible, but I'm wrong.
I think as an overall film, this one is better than the last one. Overall.
I would say you are correct, but the first one in the trilogy is more enjoyable.
I mean, I agree with that because I don't want to see a lot of the stuff I saw in this one again for multiple reasons. But I'm not interested in the second half of 28 Years Later. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I totally get that.
It's like I really enjoyed the first half of 28 Years Later. I fucking loved it. And then I didn't like the second half. I thought the second half felt like it was, again, 2 different films. This is
3 different films.
This one I don't need this. I don't need to see. I don't need to see shirts coming off.
At the very least, this one suffers from the same problem as 28 Years Later did. The first film in the trilogy is 2 movies smashed together to make a movie. There are maybe 3. I'm willing to hear the argument, but there's at least 2, and I won't.
For Bone Temple, there are 2 different movies going on here at the 100%. Same time.
But same with 28 Years Later.
So I want to talk about
not at the same time. They happen in tandem.
Well, sure, but there's still
congruently.
There's 2 different movies being made here that got shoved into one. That's
that might be fair.
So, if you take 28 Years, the first one, and run it all together as one movie, okay, all the way through the end of Bone Temple. You legitimately could have 2 fully complete cohesive stories. One would be significantly more entertaining for me than the other. Just because, so the way the first movie starts is Jimmy's story, which is something that you then don't see for 85% of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like 5% at the beginning, 85% not, 5% at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm missing 5% somewhere else.
That's okay, it's fine.
5% is credits and math is hard.
Yeah.
Okay. In this movie, we pick up almost immediately where we left off in 28 Years, which is fine. First time we've really done that in this series, but it makes sense. But then we're there for a while, and then we go back to Ian Kelson, the Bone Temple doctor, who we are introduced with in the first movie, who is an interesting fellow, to say the least.
I think his character's great.
Yeah, character-wise, awesome, played by a legendary actor in Ralph Fiennes. And then we go back and forth between these 2 movies. And they don't really feel like they fit to each other until they mash them back together again at the end. Because in the first movie, our character Spike has a large interaction with the doctor. Okay. Big things happen. Go check that movie out if you haven't yet. But spoilery, it's very important here. Okay. And then he ends up with the Jimmies. And we get most of this movie revolves around the Jimmies. Probably, I mean, it's at least 65, 70% of it.
60-40 is what I would say.
Okay, 60-40, sure. Is primarily revolves around the Jimmies, which the Jimmies are these group of kids that are being led by our Alpha Jim, like the Jimmy Crystal.
Jimmy Crystal.
Jack O'Connell plays Jimmy Crystal.
And his flowing locks. And, they go around basically just being his little beat-em-up gang.
His fingers.
Yeah, the finger. Well, they're not his fingers. Well, no, they're the fingers of Nick, who is Satan. And Jimmy has convinced these kids that he's basically a spiritual leader. Which this movie is deeply about religion, by the way.
Yeah.
If you weren't ready for that, it's coming at you every different direction from Jimmy and the doc.
Well, the bastardization of religion, more so.
What he's warped it to in his mind.
Sure. Yeah, well, it's his version of it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Jimmy was an 8-year-old kid when the outbreak started.
Yeah.
How he's still alive?
He got shoved in that weird orchard thing, and then his father, the father zombie,
saved him.
Ran out of the church, and they all followed.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still a long time.
True.
For somebody like Jimmy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
To make, but so I mean, Jimmy convinces these kids like they're basically his disciples, and they go around doing bad shit, and like none of it is good, none of it is redeemable.
They have fun though.
That's the one thing you can say about it. They have fun though.
I mean, because I can argue not all of them do.
No, but I mean. Yeah, eventually, they don't. They're victims, which...
they are children that have been manipulated to follow an idiot leader. Or, sorry, idiot. He's not an idiot. That's not right. That's
a warped mind.
Sure.
Fanatic.
A person, they're following somebody with a warped view of reality.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, that's where these stories go.
Yeah,
And
so
somehow they re-interact.
So you say these movies don't mesh together, but I don't think they're supposed to. These movies are supposed to be two sides of a coin. They're supposed to be like the polar ends of magnets. They're never supposed to actually go together. They're supposed to be flipped.
Okay.
So, the story we get with the Jimmies is that of true evil, of that people are evil, and everything that's wrong with what is left of humanity. And then the other side is the exact opposite. It's a compassionate doctor. It is that there's still hope within the people that are
trying to
seeing it.
redeem the infected.
Yeah. So we have two things happening here at the same time that are of different sides of that coin. And the fact that those two worlds collide, I think, shows that, because they try to mesh those together, and the good doctor, in the end, can't do it because they are repulsatory towards each other. He can't go through with it in the end, and it's because they are exact opposites in that sense. It's not there are things here, and the reason why we're getting it, and they don't belong. You were 100% correct, but they're not supposed to. I mean, think of the barn night when when all the shit's going down. There are two things happening. It's showing that the kids are victims, because even though they're the ones that are doing charity, which is also a perversion of the word charity, like even though they're the ones doing the charity, eventually even the kids are throwing up because there's a natural repulsion to what they're doing, right? It gets easier for them, obviously, because now they're doing these things, but
it's a disgusting thing to be part of.
No, hold on. I think you are right. However, we get that through Spike, who's not only new to this, but he's also very young.
Well, it's not just Spike that throws up.
Yeah, it's others.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, I thought it was just Spike. Sorry.
It shows three other Jimmies throwing up at different points during the whole thing
before they get barbecued.
Well, anyway, but like so anyway, think about what's happened at the barn at the same time that's happening. Old Doctor and Schlong Dong are having the time of their lives.
Well, I mean, they're just tripping balls of morphine.
They're having a calm, tranquil night, looking at the moon, and all of these things are happening for them that are the exact opposite of what's happening in the barn.
Well,
it's not that far away either.
This movie's full of duality.
That's okay, fine. It's full. I'll give you that. However, that works, I think, when it's a great idea on paper or when you're talking about a film trilogy. However, I think Roger's point, though, of these two movies kind of don't mesh is...
I agree with that, though.
It's hard, I think, going against Film 101 is having your movies talk to each other and complement each other. And isn't that the problem we had with the Star Wars sequel trilogy? Is they didn't talk to each other at all, and they couldn't have been more different than one another, and that was the problem. So I think it's a great idea to say that it's like two ends of a battery, like you're saying that one repulses the other. However, when it comes to the studio level filmmaking and like textbook filmmaking 101, I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah, but you're going to say textbook 101 for filmmaking, but there are so many examples of films that aren't textbook 101 that are great films. They're legendary films and works.
Well, but like, can you name me an original and a sequel that? I mean, you might be. They're out there.
Yeah.
Can you name me one?
Well, I mean, that's not my area of expertise. That's yours, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because it doesn't happen often. That's the thing.
And that's fine. But we can't say, well, they should have followed Film 101 but then we wouldn't get some of those other great films that don't follow Film 101. You know what I mean?
A singular film not following Film 101 is fine, but two sequels that absolutely don't talk to each other, or an original sequel, which I would argue 28 years later and 28 years later Bone Temple, I would hear the argument that they don't talk to each other, and I probably tend to agree on the side that they don't.
Oh no, I agree that like I said, I don't disagree with Roger that these things are exact opposites.
Polar opposites.
I just think that there was purpose behind that decision.
No, and I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, it definitely feels like I mean they did this for a reason, and I hope. Well, that's why. And I'm surprised that I have to say this. Like, I hope the next movie clarifies some of this, or at least puts a bow on it, because what I worry about is to me, this is just my perspective. So I have now watched 2 more 28 years films that I have not particularly enjoyed.
It's true.
I wasn't a real big fan of the first one, the first 28. Not really a fan of this one. Spoiler, I just don't really care about it.
Yeah.
And if we get a third one that goes completely off the rails again, I'm going to be like, the fuck did I watch 3 movies of this shit?
But it's not going because they're going to, it's not. The data they're collecting now will tell them make 28 days later in 2027. That's what they're going to do. Please, Sony. Please.
I hope you're right. But they have to have a plan here.
Yeah.
Because for us to get 2 full movies of the movies that we've gotten that do link together completely well, but are 2 wildly opposing stories and are not really similar to the other movies, besides the fact that we're still in Britain and still have rage zombies, and now we have recurring characters. Not a lot of the stuff is carried over from the previous films, and I don't think that they necessarily have to. I will just be very disappointed if we don't get a real conclusion to this. Like if we get, if we're an hour into the 3rd film and we haven't resolved some of this stuff, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
Well, so I have hopes for that, and like I don't want to jump to the end of this of the movie, but like I will say this just to answer that thing you brought up.
Okay.
We're like the pattern now shows me we're going to start minutes after this one ends.
We should, yes.
Or we have to. We're going to start with them, Jim running down the hill to help.
Yeah,
them.
right. So we're going to begin right with our character we've been following in Spike meeting a character that we know in Jim, and then things are going to happen from that, right? It can't just be nothing.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah.
But so let's just talk about things that have to happen going into a 3rd movie, okay? Because the way this movie ends and how it ends, I won't exactly ruin all that, but we have someone who has been cured, supposedly been cured of the infection for the first time that we've seen in this world.
Yeah.
Okay. That is not following the path of Spike and Kelly meeting up with Jim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we don't know.
Well, what we've seen is not part of that yet.
Yeah.
Well, I assume that in some world it should. But what I worry about here is we have an infected that is being cured. Okay. How is this information ever going to get disseminated correctly into a world where this island has been severed?
That's exactly my point.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. I don't think it has to. I don't think that. So that is a story route that they could take.
Okay.
But just because they've cured one guy doesn't mean that now like the goal is we can cure everyone.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get that, but that's not what I mean yet here, right?
Okay.
Because imagine we get this survivor or this cured is now trying to explain how he was cured to anybody.
Yeah.
Whether it's the military, a regular doctor, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
He's pumped full of these cocktails of drugs, which we have no idea if it's
Wear
even
off.
yeah, right? You ever have a little bit of a fever and you take a couple of Tylenol and your fever goes away?
Feel great, yeah.
And 8 hours later, you feel like dog shit again, right?
Yeah,
Because
he might have bouts. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like suddenly, I have this rage-filled moment. Like, look, we all get mad. I get that, but imagine his rage is now far superior to any other. Like, I've been really pissed off before. I've never ripped somebody's arm off,
or their head, or their head from their shoulders.
Take a deer and twist his head off like a Coke bottle and pull out his spine.
I mean, so again, some of my grievances here are I don't think that the rage-filled zombies we get in 28 Days Later are even remotely close to what we get in this film. I think they've rethought it, and they've kind of what's the word we use when they go back and like they retconned a little bit of it.
The zombies seem to be toned down a little bit, but only when it's convenient for the movie.
That's plot convenience, though.
I was gonna say because it's weird to me that like no zombies showed up like around the barn, right? Because like
they're making a hell of a noise in there.
There's fire.
Well, there's fire and blood everywhere.
Yeah. So
and not only that, but they don't have anyone.
The barn was secured.
Yeah, but there's none hovering on the fences.
Okay,
and stuff
okay,
like that.
Okay.
Like also, there was no one looking out. There was. It just. we've been through this before. We know what happens when one screams and a horde comes at you. It's terrifying. We've seen it in several movies now.
Well, they even allude to it in this movie where the three from the barn, where the guy was like, "We got to say something because if it screams," and he fucks it up because he's a moron.
Yeah, well,
of
course
shit.
he is.
What a dumbass.
Well, because like, look, I'm supposed to assume, right? If you're still in Britain and you're still alive and you're in your 30s and 40s,
that you're a survivor.
You should know how to survive.
Agreed.
At least in some capacity.
Yeah.
And this guy's a dumb shit.
I know.
Like, he can't kill one zombie quietly.
Yeah.
Well, just fuck off and leave him alone. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, just
that's the thing, is it doesn't quite jive with the universe that we've had, or people just aren't scared, or part of the movie is like we're watching this, is like we're not even worried about them. We're worried about the Jimmies and what havoc they're causing to good people just trying to survive.
Well, because Jimmy's happening to Spike.
Well, sure, and to people.
Well, yes, but Spike is our eyes in the apocalypse.
Another,
you know what I mean?
So we got a little ahead of ourselves, but if you've seen the first, so this film picks up immediately where the second one, or where the first one leaves off, is Spike gets with these crazy people, and then they have him, and then he becomes one of them by killing one of them in a very kind of grotesque way with sound effects that
you say grotesque. I say hilarious.
The sound effects still haunt my dreams with the splitting of the blood.
I mean, that's all it takes, though, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then Spike is taken along for the ride. So if the first one is about how terrible the world that they live in is, then this one's about, surprise, surprise, the world of man isn't much better. It's just as awful. And we've gotten away from the island home that they had. Remember, you spoke very highly of the causeway scene, Samson.
Oh, yeah.
You love that sequence.
Best scene in both movies.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good sequence. Do we go back there? Are we going to go back there?
So I think that's a question to answer by movie 3, obviously.
But hopefully.
I mean, either we go back there because Jim is a good guy and will take Spike to his home, or Samsung will take us there. I think that's one of the two routes. Or they come to us is the other way that happens.
That can't. There's too many of them.
Well, no. I'm not saying all of them, but Dad might finally come back out to look.
We still have to resolve that too.
Well,
I'm surprised we didn't get any of that in this movie at all.
It's gonna. Dad is gonna square off against Jim or Samson, one of the two.
This all happened very quickly, right?
Well, that's
the end of movie 1 and everything that happens in this. It's not a long timetable.
How far from the beginning of the 28 Years movie to now are we? Is it a couple of weeks?
It's not that deep in. I think it's like from Spike going out by himself with his mom. I think we are weeks out.
Okay,
maybe weeks, maybe even like 2 weeks ish.
Yeah, I'd say probably 2 weeks.
Because he's very new with that group and he doesn't like it.
Well, he's very new with that group, but he doesn't like it. But like,
who would?
I mean,
some of them I guess really enjoy that.
No, seriously,
I don't get that vibe at first. Anybody?
I don't think they do, but
they're kind of forced into it. Conscripted.
So okay.
Right. Well, brain warped, mind warped into it.
There's a lot that I like about this movie. Like a lot of little things. Let me bring up something that I don't like.
Okay.
The Jimmy group. I don't like the Jimmy group, and it's not because I don't think it's a good vessel for storytelling. It's that I think they had an idea for what the Jimmy group is. But I don't think they thought how to make it make sense fully. And
I believe you in that.
Well, but it's not in the way that a lot of people are going to think. These kids and the way they fight together and the way it all happens and how skilled they are at killing zombies says that they've been doing this for a long time. Yet, in the span of like 20 minutes of film, which is like in one day, we lose like 3 of them, and they're not that tore up about it, right? So like,
no, they're not.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like, we see a few of them that are like really skilled they're skilled at dispatching zombies at the end of the first movie. They're
really good at this one too.
Yeah. So, so that speaks to me that they've been together for a long time. They fight well together. They are savage. They're brutal. They're efficient, and they're kids. So what tells me is like they've been doing this for a long time. They're really good at this, right? But then like there's no bond at all with them. There's no real just lost within their own group too. They don't show anything that tells me that they actually have been around together.
Well,
the only segment we get is when the one guy, whatever Jimmy, whatever, he's mad at Spike. He's like, he was my best friend.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. But that's the only real semblance.
Well, no.
Well,
in answer to your question, I mean, because of Jimmy, the leader of the Jimmies, how he sees himself, he sees them as all pawns. They're there to serve him.
No, 100%. But
he doesn't care. So like, we don't.
They
care.
would have bonds between them,
though. I mean, right?
Sure, and
you know what I mean.
But the ones that are left are like those are the hardcore ones too. Like those are the SS Nazis that are following.
Yeah, but
Hitler.
he's only ever had 7, I think, because he always talks about the seven fingers.
Can I bring up one other weird thing that I found about this movie?
Yeah.
Is so we have the barn folks, and we'll talk about them a little bit more here in a minute about how that's a hard scene. But like when they're camped out, when the Jimmies are camped out in the woods, they don't have a fire.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have patrol. They don't cover anything. They just sleep on the ground.
Yeah.
But they don't fear anything.
No.
That's crazy to me.
Because the script says they don't have to fear anything, and that's part of my problem. In this world, you're always a second away from death.
I don't mind that like they are skilled and can dispatch zombies relatively efficiently. Like at the one point where Kelly walks right up, that one dives at her, she just sidesteps it, slits his throat.
Well, again, she's good at this.
Yeah, right. She's very good at it. But still, to be during the night with no protection at all, like that's.
Can I point something out that's adjacent to that, but doesn't answer that question effectively? I think that there aren't many left in this area.
Okay, like it's a safer zone, basically.
Well, yeah, but
or they've dealt with them all.
Well, Samsung is the alpha, right? I think his group is the only one that's in this area, and
they're not that close to where they're at either.
And the doctor says something about his work is done. So and that's his temple he's talking about, not Samsung. He says his work is done. He was ready to be checked out until everything with Samsung's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then Samsung, we get one of the coolest fucking zombie fight scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
where the train
literally tears apart the entire train with the zombies who don't see him as one of them anymore, which is
his humanity's back. But we're way far ahead of where we should be.
Well, but hear me out. So like, I think that may have been the rest of them. That's his group.
Yeah, of course.
So like, there might not be any. Like,
not
many. Yeah. It's like it's almost like they only deal with migrations at this point.
Well, okay. Well, a counter argument is we don't know that. But
we don't know that, and the Jimmies wouldn't know.
That's
that,
the point. Is they're living without fear in a world where we are taught to fear.
Like I said, what I was saying wasn't going to answer your question well at all.
Well, it's so the whole thing was, and then so Spike again, having left the doctor. They finally make their way back to the doctor, and we spend a lot of time in this movie. Kelson, that's his name, right? Kelson spends a lot of time. He tranquilizes just like he did in the first film, which to me is a rehash and a big no-no. If you've already done it, he's betting everything on the fact that he can make Samson. He can bring some of the humanity back, at least enough that Samson won't kill him when he has a chance.
He was to the point though in this, he was ready to give up. Like he was done with him. He'd run his battery of tests. He had pumped him full of all the drugs that he could, to the point where he says, "Man, you're taking up all of my morphine."
Yeah,
mind you, Samson, whether he is now uninfected, maybe not, he definitely is a morphine addict.
100%.
Definitely walking around scratching a little bit.
Sure, we spend so much time with them. Like Samson comes out of the woods and Kelson's like, "Hey," Samson's like, "Hey,
what's up, bro?
Killed a deer for you. What do you want me to put?" It's and then the sequence where, and I understand why that a filmmaker might consider this important. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but it is. I can understand why they would put it in there. Is, after he's been tranked and kind of nullified a little bit, and then Kelson like dances with him. I get that the bromance, that he's figuring out something that no one else has figured out, but he's finally done it at the cost of his camp, at the cost of all his supplies. He's figured it out. However, in my opinion of watching this movie, as someone who wanted this movie to be great, wanted to love it, is we spend so much time on this.
Well, I mean,
and Samson.
I think it's fair to say that I think they were looking for time for this movie. Now, whether they're looking for time or if this is the story they want to tell, we'll never know. But to me, it feels like they're trying to fill time because they don't have enough. they want to do something else in the third one, but there's not enough here to like really be like a full story until they add some of this stuff, which is why I think we get a lot of that. Because I too am with you. I didn't need quite so much of that, but then what are we gonna get? More murder hobos?
Well, yeah. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about what the Jimmies do, right?
Yeah.
They find this little, like, I can't say settlement because it's too small to be a settlement.
Like
They find this little compound. It's like 2 houses, a barn, and a garage, and it's all fenced off
and some chickens,
secured. It's got chickens, some crops.
Yeah.
And they do what they do. They go in, improperly introduce themselves, take over, and basically hold this family hostage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when these folks get back from being out in the woods doing whatever, where the guy dies, they basically take over and they start running them through their little trials and tribulations and begin to cut their skin off.
Yeah.
Okay, which, like, look, it's not really something I'm super into watching on a screen, but the idea behind it is interesting. Like, they are giving these people their charity, quote unquote. And the problem that I have with it is we spend a lot of time seeing these people having their skin flayed off.
Yep.
For a reason that I don't totally understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're still alive. Okay. Horrifically.
Yeah.
And then we get this weird fight scene where we lost somebody. Now we're gonna introduce maybe get another Jimmy. We're gonna have another Jimmy fight off right here. Like, the whole thing seems like it was thrown together to me. Like,
okay,
if we're gonna have this group of people, which we don't even know how we found these people,
yeah,
what we're gonna do with them. Like, are we just taking their supplies? Are we gonna crash here for a while? Are we just torturing these people because we feel like it's fun to do? It's because Nick tells me we need to do it.
Yeah.
His version of God / Satan, or whatever thing is going on in his mind. We don't get any of that story from Jimmy's perspective. Like, they're just there, and then they're doing this stuff.
Yeah, but have you ever been around an 8-year-old that wants to do something just cause?
Yeah, I certainly have.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand that Jimmy is different because this stuff happened to him when he was 8. Jimmy is 36 years old.
Yeah.
Jimmy has survived this long in an apocalypse.
Yep.
And he's still like this, which is a testament to, 1, evil,
yeah,
and 2, perseverance, right? Because, like, we don't know how this whole thing came about, where Jimmy basically starts his own cult.
Yeah.
We don't know what steps unfold to make this happen. And honestly, I don't care if we ever get that story.
I don't even need it.
No,
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah, same.
But for us to spend as much time as we do in this garage or this barn stripping people's skin off to watch this group have a bunch of infighting, like, I don't get that. Like, it feels like it's out of place in a movie where the whole Jimmies are out of place.
Well, we didn't have infighting. I would argue that. I think that again, there's more symbolism with the boy that challenges the girl.
Okay.
And it's this boy just watched these people kill his entire family, and in that,
at least maim them. Yes.
Yeah, and in that, still chose to join their group, or attempt to, over death, because when faced with it, even
he chooses his own mortality.
Even the best people will have a problem with that. And
I didn't take it like that.
Hold on, and in that moment, he chooses what he sees as the weakest one to fight. So again, it's speaking to morality, what you're willing to give up, the cowardice of someone who's bigger and stronger fighting someone weaker because he wants to win so that he can live. There's a lot there that you could.
No, yeah,
I don't think, but I didn't take it as. I took it as he just wanted to kill. He just wanted to kill one of them and start with the easiest one and do what he could from there. That's what I didn't take it as he was, when given the choice, he chose to live and be part of the group as opposed to anything else.
This is probably how he got all of this is probably how he got all of his Jimmy.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
You know what I mean?
At least how he got one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I think that's exactly what I think, that in a different movie timeline, if the boy kills the girl, I think he becomes a Jimmy. I think that's exactly what happens. Now whether he plans to overthrow them or plans to kill more of them later on, or even in that moment, whatever. But like, he still chose what he
chose to try to become a Jimmy than
instead of dying, or instead of having his skin ripped off of his chest. So it's like it's just like I think there's out of that part because you said like it feels thrown together. I think that there's purpose in the storytelling, not that it's well done or that it's good decision making or that we should have gone other places with our time. You know what I mean? Like I all that. And,
that's how I feel about a lot of this movie. Though,
which is fair.
I understand what's going on there. I understand why it's part of the story.
Yeah,
it just doesn't necessarily seem to fit in its own little world.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part that I have.
How old is Spike again? Sorry,
young.
Like 12.
Okay. The other problem you have,
it's okay. The other part that I have, right, is we are 28 years later into this part. So anybody that's in their 30s have lived their whole life like this.
Yeah.
And anybody younger than that was born into this.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Which is all of the Jimmys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I understand how they could be corrupted or
except the main Jimmy.
Well. Yeah, I understand how they could all be corrupted and have follow somebody like this because they've never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
But I would think, and now mind you, again, it all comes back to where people are the worst part. You have to have a survivorship mentality here.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be very untrustworthy of anybody you've never encountered before.
Yeah. But at the same time, 28 years later, some of these people that they have are going to be in their own little compounds that they found or in small settlements that things happen to.
That's where I was going, right?
Yeah.
Is these people who are at this compound must be stupid. And think about it, right? So we saw one of them get picked off by zombies for no reason at all. And then we come back. How the fuck did the Jimmys get in this compound?
Yeah.
She went through 2 locked doors to get through this.
Yeah.
Did they just scale a razor wire fence?
I didn't. I didn't ask that question once. It didn't look secure to me. It looked like you could just walk in from anywhere.
It proved to you that you can't.
We saw one side.
It looks secure against zombies. I think was more what he's saying.
Someone who knows that. I mean, if they're looking to get in,
a person would be able to get in.
Multiple padlocks, though. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah. But
really hard.
Yeah,
because they're not looking for people. They're looking for zombies.
Okay. Because I
understand.
If suddenly somebody is climbing my fence, I'm going to be like, hey, man, get off my fence or you're getting a bullet in you.
Yeah.
Well, 3 of them are out and there's 2 in the I mean, also, what were they doing? Were they eating lunch? Were they napping?
5 people still in that house.
Part of my problem with this movie, too, is the world building doesn't quite seem to add up to what I thought the world would look like in this. If you take away from the fact that in the first of the shows we learn that it's only Britain that's dealing with this, why did they make that decision? Especially when they had the end. Now I don't know if is 28 weeks completely been scrubbed.
No, not completely scrubbed. However,
the ending has been scrubbed.
Ending has been right.
So you see the Eiffel Tower and other places, and
they never made it there.
But that's why.
Well, didn't they say they got contained?
Why scrub it though?
Either way,
why scrub it?
Well, because I think that it's easier to tell an isolated story about specific people than it is to do another worldwide crisis zombie film. The knee jerk is I want my worldwide crisis film.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Which is a fair reason why you're asking that question. That's not the story they want to tell, and I'm kind of glad they're not telling that story because I have that in spades if I want it.
Well, we don't need to see the rest of the world. We just need people. We needed those military guys to be like, no one's doing well. We're all fucked.
Well, the reason it's not global, it actually helps the story out because if it was global, we'd have found a cure already.
Fair.
Because legitimately, if some guy who hasn't had proper medical stuff for 30 years fucking cracks the code, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Somebody would have figured that shit out by now. We'd be running test after test on some of these dudes.
What bothers me with where we're at now, and here's some spoilers, so I apologize if. But
we're an hour 20 and
we've warned. So part of my issue here is with some of the stuff that are missing that I would have thought is an absolute going to happen is if the Doctor and Samson, he finally figures it out, and then Samson would have to either die protecting Spike, die protecting the Doctor. He figured it out. He literally brought Frankenstein back, and he figured it out. And what I thought we were going to was Spike running from the Jimmys, and then because that whole sequence when the Jimmies get to the temple, when I thought, can this movie get any more silly? And then they got there and they knew Kelson. I'm like, it just got worse. It just got worse.
Buddy, then you showed up to the Iron Maiden concert.
The 4.5 minutes of
hell yeah, brother.
Well, okay, before we make it seem silly, but it does have a huge thematic resonance with deconstructing religion.
It can be both, right? Because it is very silly, and two, it is very poignant to the story.
Yeah, but to someone trapped in an 8-year-old frame of mind, and all these kids haven't seen this before, like this silly your showmanship is exactly like what God. But it's exactly what would enthrall anyone that doesn't know any better, including Jimmy Crystal. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah. So and also I think
you think Spike had ever heard Iron Maiden before?
I mean, he does now.
He's never going to forget that shit.
But the interaction between Spike and the Doctor, to me, it was too late and it was too unpronounced. It was, I mean, that should have been way different. Samson, I would have thought when we were setting that up, I would have thought it would have played out in a way that Spike and the girl managed to get away from the group. The Jimmies were chasing them to kill them, and then they were into Samson, who doesn't kill them. I thought, okay, that's going to be interesting. Nowhere to be found.
He's over there ripping.
I mean, Samson could have
I don't agree with you on that.
Samson could have a major role to play in the one coming. It makes sense. It makes sense that Jim.
Change of pace if it didn't.
It makes sense that Jim is going to have to square off with Aaron Taylor Johnson because Spike's now found a real father figure, or Samson's going to square off with Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson is a father figure still. I wouldn't say he's not a real father figure.
Not a great dude, though.
I mean, he isn't a great husband at the end of his wife's life.
He wasn't a great dad to Spike, though, either.
What? Actually, I don't.
You need to rewatch the
I don't agree with that statement because to Spike, he was fine.
Okay, fine, but
he was good to that boy.
He was shitty to his dying mother, and I understand that. Like,
100%.
in that world, I couldn't imagine what that's like. But thematically, I totally get that.
Yeah.
So
we have a lot of ground to cover in this next film, and I don't think
there is a lot of ground to cover.
As far as like if the start of 28 years later and then the end of the trilogy is 100 steps, we've gone like 20 steps. So the next movie has to cover so much.
We told two very isolated pockets of this 28 years part of the story with these two stories that we got, 100%. But like again, I feel like things we hit, while I don't think we're fully necessary to dive in as deep as we did with either of these things, I do think that we've set up. They did the thing that sometimes we talk about. We want movies to do, trilogies, movie, TV series. They set it up. They did something that movies are usually afraid to do. They're afraid to take the time. And what we got a full story of Spike, of who he was, and where he and who this boy is as we see him right now at the end of this movie. He's gone on a fucking journey in 2 movies, right? He's seen the entire spectrum.
He's had the worst summer camp ever.
He's gone from innocence to man to coming into himself as a man, to being let down by his only hero, to being to trying to find a solution as a man for his mother, to burying his own mom thematically. You know what I mean? And then seeing true evil. He's run the spectrum because he thought his dad was evil first. He threatened his dad with a knife in the first movie.
Yep. Twice.
His dad ain't that bad when you think about Jimmy now. You know what I mean? Like
Dr. Kelson said to Spike, "Hey Spike, your mom was sick. I killed her. Here's your skull. I washed it for you.
I cleaned this for you.
You got to climb.
Great if you put it on top of my fucking weird
I
Christmas
can't climb
tree.
high anymore. I'm a little old. But my point is they've built all this up. They've taken the time. They set up a full movie about truth, about evil and good, and about how they've discovered a cure and a whole character in Samson, and they've opened up the third movie to whatever that's going to lead to them. But they've set up something.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe it could all be complete shit as well. But like, there's something to that because we asked for that a lot, and we got it. We just don't like the way we got it, I guess. But like,
that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
It's not even the fact that. I mean, honestly, if you've heard what I said, honestly, I don't really like this.
Which is fair.
How we get from point A to point C now has been a wild ride, and and movies don't have to be linear. That's not what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be like start quest, finished quest. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. It's just, I would be hard pressed for anybody who was a fan of the first 2 films and now have watched these 2 films be like, I'm on board 100%.
I don't think
100%.
I think that the people that have watched that, I think you have two kinds of movie audience here. I think you really have people that want to watch a story unfold and want to watch a zombie flick, and I think that you can't, like, there is no way to feasibly appease both of those camps at once.
No, now you can't.
You probably could have, but before these 2 movies came out, would you have ever considered that after 2 more movies, this would be the point that we'd be staring down the barrel of the Jimmies and stuff? And like, look, I applaud them for taking a fantastic risk, right?
Yeah.
Because they could have done something completely different than this, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't or shouldn't have done that. Yeah. It's just nobody after watching the first 28 movies goes, you know what I hope they bring into the 4th movie?
Power Rangers.
The fucking Power Rangers. And I want them to be Satanists, and I want to see more of that dude's dong.
Well, if I mean, you didn't.
It's all the docs.
We could have. We didn't even. It's just I get why the Jimmies are here, but again, after seeing it, I'm still kind of scratching my head and why we wasted a whole movie's worth of time on them. That's what I don't understand. And I understand how movies work, how story works. Maybe I'm infusing what I wanted and didn't want a little too much here.
It's okay to do that a little bit, but again, though, it's like I said, even if you wanted to infuse some stuff that you want to see, nobody can say that, hey, I knew what was coming.
Yeah, I knew we were going to.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
no, you didn't. It's like, look, every now and then a movie gives you a twist you never saw.
Yeah.
It's rare when the whole movie's the fucking twist, right? It's rare.
Not even a twist. It's the whole movie goes down this weird gravel road that you didn't even know existed. But Jim Bob lives on the very end of it, and goddamn it, he gets mail. So and
somebody's got to take it to
we,
him.
We went on that mail route.
There was a lot of. It's funny how they closed a lot of thread lines here.
Weirdly, yeah.
It's almost like they left it in a place where. I mean, it's not, because there's things happening now that it's almost like they see it as, well, we've closed some of the thread lines. If we don't make another one, it's okay.
I think it's more interesting. Okay, I didn't think if we don't make another one, but like if you think about it from who's left, I think we have
Jim, Spike, Kelly, who's with Spike, Jim's kid, and the pregnant chick. And Samson,
and everyone back at the
and Dad.
I would say Dad is the one that's important there, right?
There might be someone else.
Well, I mean, there's a whole settlement there.
Well, yeah, but like the ones that we saw and knew from the first one, it's just Dad that gave a shit,
that's
right?
the only one.
Like,
and whatever woman he was seeing on the side.
She was inconsequential to anything besides the fact that
she won't be in the 3rd film.
Probably not.
You can't even guarantee she's in the 3rd.
Yeah,
I would imagine she'll be part of it.
Taylor Johnson's in the 3rd film.
Yeah, she wasn't important at all to any part of that story besides what she did.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but with Spike having to go back and confront his dad, that's going to have to be something he confronts.
No.
Why'd you do that to Mom?
It never has to.
Or we never go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just.
But what I'm saying is, we have 6 characters we just named.
Sure.
That's a lot of movie.
Well,
6
name them again.
I can do it. Old Jim, his kid, Kelly and Spike together, Samson.
Okay, Samson. Well, I thought you forgot. I was like, there's Samson in there too.
So I mean, we have 6 characters to explore. That's a lot of movie.
That is a lot of movie. You're correct.
You know what I mean? So
there's defense. At least 4 of them should be together.
Yeah.
Mostly immediately.
Now, and here's the other thing. The last thing I'll say, because we got to wrap up soon, is that we've only seen the migration, the herd zombies. The group that's been with basically Samson, essentially, is the way that I understand it now, right? We know that there's walls built.
Yeah.
We don't know if there's collections or larger pockets of zombies near other places. There might be a lot of freaking undead infected to deal with still.
We don't even know how the humanity settlements are working out.
Yeah, because don't forget, there are whole cities that we haven't seen that are part of this landmass.
That's right.
So,
well, we don't even know what part of Britain are we in.
We're in the. We do know where we're at. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I promise you that we can see it.
So I'll look it up then.
Yeah.
It's northern, right?
Yeah. Like the northern hills and stuff.
Still along the coast somewhere.
Yeah. But we have. There are in this next movie. There's plenty of room for there to be waves of these things still,
which is what we needed in this one.
No. I don't disagree.
Well, after this one, I don't know. If you would have said that in the first version of this, I'd have been like, we should have saw that. But after watching the first one, coming to the second one, I kind of knew that we weren't going to get that.
Yeah. So, but like there's 6 people's story at least to explore possibly, and we don't know if there are large pockets of these things still that we might get.
Well, there's one character I think is Jimmy will come back. He's infected, but his mind, he'll be like Robert Carlyle was in the sequel.
I think Jimmy's gone, brother.
No, Samsung was the one that killed him.
Was it Samsung? I thought it was just a random. I thought it was just a random one.
I was under the assumption that was Samson.
Samsung was there, upside down. He was the one that was carrying the doctor away.
Well, I saw him carry the doctor, but I thought it was just another one that did the jump scare.
Oh, I don't know if that's gonna be like a canon thing or if it was just there for jump scare purposes, which cheap as fuck.
Wait. You honestly write off the fact that Jimmy's not gonna come back as an infected, knowing he can think.
I mean,
I would think there's good to fair chance.
Again, though,
I don't think he would think as an infected though. I think he would just be infected.
Okay, well, fair. Okay, fair enough.
I didn't think about what you said. I just assumed Samsung and ended up killing him anyway because that same infected that attacks Jimmy is also going to attack Samsung, right? Because
see, that's the thing. Samson did a lot of killing on the bus, his herd, but like we don't know. We saw at least one or two of them jump on Samson, and so like if it stands to reason that Samson can get reinfected.
No. I don't think he cannot anymore.
Well, how do we know that?
Because
we don't. But...
Well, because he came back and so he came back after being he gets blood spat on him in his face, covered. He gets bit. Everything. Yeah,
that's my point. Is like I thought he was. You can't.
But it was after that he comes that shot of him out of the bus, dong and everything, man. Primal. But and it's after that he walks back and talks to the corpse, talks to Kelson one last time. He's still
him.
Human. Yeah, he's still back.
Okay, well that's
conscious.
Because in the first one,
like chickenpox. Like once you have it, once it runs its course.
We know that one drop of blood in the first one was enough to turn Brendan Gleeson's character into.
Yeah. Now we don't know if he can still infect people. We don't know what any of that means. But I think that the rage part of it is the psychosis, and he's cured of that part.
Well, so that's one. Okay, and I know it's time for us to close it down. But I got one thing I want to statement. Or one statement I want to make. So for the first time in all these movies that I remember, or there in at least the last 2 movies, we see what Samson sees when he sees the one and like he sees the
beginning,
the psychosis face, the craziness.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed we didn't really see that anymore after that because I would have loved to seen like as he started to like come around, how things are changing for him, and we don't get that, and I think they took that from us, like.
But we still might get it.
Of all the things they could have included for time,
why include it? Why give us like a 1-30-second snip of it and then never see it again during that movie?
Well, maybe they intend to.
When it's implied that it's being cured.
Well, I think so my last, and again, I feel like I'm defending this movie a lot, but like
you like this movie, it's all right.
I feel like there's explanations here. I think that's because in the psychosis he sees infected because that's what we see when he's approaching that hunter that he kills. And then on the bus, when he snaps back to it, like he sees all the infected as infected.
As them.
He no longer sees them as his people. He sees them as infected, which is reality, as it's supposed to be. But now he sees the infected that he's going to kill and destroy, that they're actually the infected people now. I think that the whole time, the people that are in the psychosis are seeing things that need to be killed.
Well, that's also too, though. Like one thing where he sees another infected while he's still infected to see what they look like to him would have been a little bit helpful in that.
You're right, and I agree with that 100%.
You think about it, when you look at something and you be like, "Oh, it looks weird," then you look at it and be like, "Oh, that's why that looks that way." Okay, I get that. We don't get that.
But, this also explains the mother who gave birth on the train as well, because deep down, Samsung was still there the whole time, just with the psychosis and childbirth. Your primal instincts take over as a woman,
absolutely.
And like in that moment, she was no longer attacking people. She was trying to find a place to give birth to a child. It's like those deep down, they're all there still in some way. Just it takes something to bring them out, which is an interesting concept that we haven't seen. So that's cool.
Well, it's been
anyway. I didn't mind the movie. It's not great.
Mind it either. I'm harder on the movies I want to be better.
Well, I don't think it's great. I think it has a lot of problems. I think the movie's good, and I enjoyed my time with it. I will say, out of the 5 people I watched it with, I was probably me and one other the only ones that liked it. So it's definitely on a average viewer side, probably like a good 40 to 60 split, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, it's a very divisive movie, and please watch it. Watch 28 years later.
And then tell me how wrong I am.
There's so much going on, and we didn't even touch on the hardcore religion, the upside down cross, which again speaks volumes in this film. Like visually, says so much.
If they ever come back to that,
there's a ton of symbolism in this movie, like tons of stuff.
I think the idea of closing out the threads is maybe they said, okay, well, we don't want to return to the heavy religion aspect of it. We've explored it. Let's move on.
Which would follow the pattern of all of these movies. They've all told, like I said, a very like thematic version of a story all the way through. So I don't think we'll get too much of the evil or the religion side of things again.
Well, leave a message in the comments what you thought of the film. Tell me why I'm wrong, or why Chris is wrong, why Roger's right, because Roger's always right, according to Roger.
Never been wrong. Never told a joke.
Hey, Oscar season's about to hit us, buddy, and I've been right two out of 2 times.
He's correct. Spider-Man.
He's just been more right.
My belt.
All right, that does it for us on episode 65 of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. If you listen to this episode on an audio-only service, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podbean, feel free to head on over to YouTube. Check us out there as well. Do I look like Kurt Russell in Stargate? Spitting image, I will say.
Short answer, folks.
No.
No.
Thank you. Turn us on while you're doing work in the background, while you're cooking dinner, while you're browning your meat, which is what I was doing when I came over here. My brother took over for me. God, what? Okay. Like and subscribe.
Prosthetic?
Like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, now I see what you're saying. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week, which I can confidently say we'll be talking about Mercy.
One last thing about the Oscars thing you said about having more right. Just because they agreed with what you wrote does not mean that they were also right.
Fair.
Because I could argue that they were also very wrong in some of those.
I feel very right.
Come Maverick should have beat Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Wow. You could have said that.
Stop, please. Click the button.